Hi guys, it is Wednesday, April 29th. As of the middle of the day today, we had 3,192 confirmed cases of COVID 19 in Arkansas. So we're still going up, still pretty steady. No super terrifying spike, but it's definitely not over, right? The big news from my yard today is that I'm not happy because my dog this morning, while I was grading and working on grades, came up the steps of the deck with this in his mouth. He was so pleased with himself. He thought, oh, look, Mom, I have found a lovely toy to chew on. As you know from my video on Monday, this is not what I want him to do with my bamboo. There's another problem with the bamboo, though. It's not all Hey Duke's fault. There are several stalks of bamboo that are chewed off, kind of like this, but like 3 or 4 feet above the ground. And I really don't think Hey Duke is standing on his back legs to break off bamboo. I mean, I must have a particularly ornery squirrel or some chipmunks working together to destroy my new bamboo shoots or something. I don't know, but I have to figure it out because it's really, really annoying. Big news from interesting news from the governor's press update today. They had said before that they were going to make an announcement regarding restaurants potentially reopening, and sure enough they did, as of May 11th, which is not this upcoming Monday, but the Monday after that. Restaurants will be allowed to serve people in their facility. Now, restaurants have been being able to prepare food for delivery or takeout, but as of a little over a week from now, we'll be able to eat at restaurants. Now, there are certain things that they have to do, certain restrictions there. For one thing, they can only seat 33% of the number of people that they usually could seat. So what that means is, like if a restaurant has a capacity for 100 people to eat there, well, we'll say 99 people to eat there sitting in chairs with tables, only 33 of those people can eat there starting Monday. Hey Duke is going crazy with his ball. Here, hold on. Let me see if I can. Hey Duke, get it! Get your ball! Get your ball! Nope. We were too late. He just goes crazy with that red ball in the background. I was hoping he would keep playing with it so you could watch. Sorry about that. Rats. Okay, so what that means is if you go to a restaurant that usually has... Nope. Yes. Can you hear him? Growling? He sounds horrible. Only a third of the number of people who usually can eat at a restaurant will be able to eat at that restaurant. You have to wear a face covering until you order. After that, you can have your face covering off. There are several things that the restaurant owners and cooks and wait staff and so on need to do as far as rules that they have to follow. Why can't we go right now? Why do we have to wait a week or so before this happens? Well, those restaurants need some time to get themselves organized and get up to running with these new restrictions, right? So they also announced today that the Arkansas government is going to be providing some funds to restaurants to help them, like buy the personal protective equipment they need, buy the thermometers they need to test their employees to be sure nobody has a fever when they come to work, stuff like that. So May 11th, you should be able to go to a restaurant that you like and eat there if you want to. Something that, and they're going to talk some more tomorrow about, I think tomorrow's the update on barbershops and beauty salons and whether they're going to reopen soon or not. So the question I want to answer today is, somebody put in a question in one of our Edpuzzle assignments, when is this all going to be over? When are we going to be able to get back to normal? It's a really good question. And I think it's a question that pretty much everybody is thinking about. And the problem is that I don't know the answer to that question. And nobody really knows the answer to that question because we've never lived through a pandemic like this before. The last real worldwide pandemic with a virus similar to this was the Spanish flu, and that was 100 years ago. This is a different virus. It does different things. The world is completely different, right? We're much more connected now. Medical science is way more advanced now than it was then, but it's still not magical, right? We can learn a lot from what happened then. We can also learn a lot from other things that have happened since then with infectious disease. But there's not a magical answer here. So in this country, at least in parts of this country, we seem to have been able to flatten the curve that you and I have talked about for a month and a half now. We seem to have been able to slow the progression of who gets the disease so that there are enough doctors and nurses and hospitals to take care of the very sick people. We've slowed it way down, and that's great, but that doesn't mean it's magically over. So now what we're doing throughout the country is slowly opening things back up. Are we returning to normal? No. No, next week is not going to be normal. It's not going to look or feel normal. But we're opening a few things back up slowly. We're being careful. We're doing a few things at a time to get back toward normal. And as long as that goes well, we'll keep moving back toward what we think of as normal. But here's the thing. I don't know that we'll be back to what we think of as normal for a really long time. We get back to school next year. Am I going to give you a hug? I don't know. Are we all going to be able to run around without face coverings? Or when we go back to school, are we going to have face coverings over our mouth and nose? There are all kinds of things that we don't know yet. There's lots and lots of question marks, not just for you as a student, but for everybody still right now. And I know that's not a very satisfying answer. I know that sometimes it's really comforting to ask a question and for somebody to say, yes, absolutely, this is the answer. But unfortunately, with this situation, no one can do that for you. And I know that's frustrating also because a lot of you and a lot of your families are in uncomfortable circumstances right now, what with people having lost their jobs, or being sick, or being in a situation where you can't move around to the extent that you really feel like you need to. And I know that that's really frustrating. And we can't minimize that. We can't say, oh, that's not a big deal. You shouldn't worry about that, because you should. It's important that that you're able to talk about and think about and deal with this stuff that's really negative and discouraging in your life. But it's also important to be able to think of things that are positive too. I miss my daughter a lot. I haven't been able to see her just face to face in like a month and a half. And that's very weird, and I really don't like that. But you know what? I ate half a container of Oreos today. There are things that are frustrating and negative going on here, but there's also some stuff that's positive, and it's really important to try to think of things to look forward to, even if all I've got to look forward to is the rest of that box of Oreos. Dadgummit, they're mine. I hope that you all are staying safe and being happy and taking care of your people. Please stay in touch. I will talk to you again tomorrow.